you ever planned and then found out the plan didn't quite work out the way you wanted it to? Well, I recently did a plan and that one definitely didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I'm Dave, welcome to Dave Takes It On. Now, I do go out filming on my own and I'm quite happy to do so. However, it does limit me in what I can film. I can only use a static camera. I don't like wandering around with a selfie with background blur. That's not me. I'd much rather have either a cameraman or have a camera on a tripod, and then I know what I'm doing. So I go out on my own and I am limited in what I do. I also find I'm a little bit restricted for a number of reasons. I'll come back to that one in a second. So going out on my own is great. I can get the videos I want, I can get the footage I want, put the videos together, and that's absolutely fine. Jonas, he's my son. He's the other one within the channel, and he's got a vital role, but normally not in front of the camera. So Jonas is a sound engineer, and he does a lot of the sound engineering, obviously, but he also does put some videos together. He does some colouring and editing on the videos. He will also do some of the basic research. He will look at putting the thumbnails together, so he's responsible for that, the titles, description, everything else. And then his main job is the monitoring of the data. YouTube gives you a huge amount of data, which is designed to help you be successful, because if they like your channel, they want more advertisers on their channel, so they put adverts on our channel, and so they're keen to make us successful, so they get more adverts and they make more money. So that's the way of business. But while I'm pretty much retired, I've got a small part-time job. It doesn't take up a huge amount of time. I spend a lot of my time out filming or making videos. Jonas, on the other hand, he's a lot younger than me. He's got a family and a mortgage and kids and a wife and all the normal commitments. And so he has a very different lifestyle to me. He's not able to just drop everything and go and film or interview someone. So he's restricted. So usually about once a month, we're trying to get it up to twice a month. We'll go out for half a day or a day together. And when I'm with him, the filming is very different.
Okay, so where are we?
We're at Chester East Services, M56, heading westbound.
And the video is?
Video is what charging speeds do you get out of a 350? Is it worth coming here?
Take it away.
Well, a lot of people accuse me of being a Tesla fanboy. How about that? Have you got an answer for that? Porsche Taycan. He is a dynamic cameraman, so I can stand still and talk, and he will wander around and make sure the background fits in with what I'm saying, and etc, etc. It totally changes it, but he also changes the dynamics. He sees himself as a bit of film director, and so he will direct me, and if he thinks I'm being a bit boring, he stops me. You know, bit more energy into that one, please, and away we go again. So you may notice when I'm out with Jonas, the videos are probably a little bit more, let's say, energetic or lively. I think it's a good thing because it keeps people interested. So we planned a day out on Thursday, which was the 1st of February, and the night before we got together and we do a list of what we want to film. So we have locations we're going to go to. Are we going to Superchargers? Are we going to GridServe or Ionity or Fastned? Are we going to look at a particular town and see what charging is available there? Are we going to look at the motorway services and see what the facilities are? We do the planning in advance and we try to come away with 4 or 5 videos from a day out. That's the plan. So we need to know pretty much what we're filming beforehand. So on the day, 1st of February, Thursday, I pulled up at Jonas's with all the gear. He jumps in and it was still dark at the time and off we set. Now the plan we normally use is we will head towards our first filming location, and on the way we will stop for breakfast. It's very early in the morning, we haven't eaten, so it's a breakfast stop. And in this case the destination was Chester City Centre, and the breakfast stop was going to be on the M56 at Chester East Services. Which is only about 20 minutes from Chester City Centre. And the plan was we'd get through all the traffic, we'd get to the Chester East Services, we'd park the car and we would go and have some breakfast. We'd decide the final shooting schedule for the day, and after breakfast we'd jump in the car and head off, and the first stop was planned to be Chester. So we got there, and all of a sudden the plan went out the window because the chargers there, I've done a couple of videos on Chester East services. There are 12 GridServe 350 kilowatt chargers and 2 of the older GridServe 50 kilowatt dual bay chargers. And they first went in November. I know that because I went out. My wife took me out for a weekend away in Chester for my birthday in November. And so I saw them then, and they were being installed, but not commissioned. And then went back later, filmed them, they were all up and working. And then Jonas and I went back a little while after that, I think the end of December, and 6 of them were out of order already. And the engineers were there, both from ABB, who make the chargers, and from GridServe, who buy and run the chargers. So we got talking to them. A lot of information came on those occasions. So at this occasion, there was no engineers there. There were 12 GridServe chargers, and there were a lot of cars in. I think about 11 out of the 12 bays were occupied. So we thought we'd do a quick couple of photos and a quick walkthrough video to show how busy it is. So we set up, we put off breakfast for a little while, and we started filming. And almost immediately I was approached by David. David's a fabulous chap. We met him there. Let's say he's got a few years extra on top of me. And I know he's told me his age, but he won't see 80 again. And there's David travelling around the country in a Volvo EV. And I think that's fabulous. He's a sprightly lad. And he came over. Hello, Dave, can you help me? He recognised me. He's one of my viewers. Absolutely brilliant. So we had a chat. Then we found out he was having trouble charging. He'd been to 2 of the other chargers when they were vacant, plugged in. It had said connected, and then it had said put your card details in, but it hadn't provided any electricity. Instead, it came up with an error message. So he said, I need to get this sorted because I'm on my way down to Poole in Dorset. So he's not only out in a big EV, but he's out on long distance as well. That's going to be the subject of another video, so I'm not going to spoil that one. But what I do in all these cases, I don't have any experience whatsoever of a Volvo, no idea how even to open the flap for the charging port. However, I have charged a large number of chargers, so I have a lot of experience in chargers. So my first thing is, David, I'm not saying you've done anything wrong, but let me have a go, start to finish. You just put your card there, and if it works, it's possibly something you were doing. If it doesn't work, it's neither you nor me. Could be the car, could be the charger. So we did that. I handed it over to me. I plugged it in. I put the plug back in the charger. The screen was clear, so you make sure it's a total fresh session. Plugged it in. Called for the card. David put his card there. It said payment accepted. Then it went on to the little wheelie thing going round and round and round. Then came up error. Now, any other charger, he's done this 3 or 4 times, any other charger, this could have been a problem for him because it said payment accepted, but it didn't allow it to charge. So if one of these other networks which have a pre-authorization fee of 30, 40, 50 pound each time, he could well have stacked up 200 pound of pre-authorization. That also subject of another video. But in this case, it wouldn't charge. Now, I got a bit of a clue because I looked over my shoulder, and in the background there were 2 ABB engineers. ABB, for those who don't know, they're the ones who make the chargers. GridServe buy them and badge them, and they run them, but ABB are the ones who install them and switch them on. And there were 2 engineers there. They had one coned off, and they were doing some work. They had one of the cabinets open, which we took the opportunity of photographing, of course, and we also just approached them and said, do you want to talk? And they were quite happy to chat away. So we found out they were having problems. Didn't specify exactly what, but so I reported the problem with David, and they said, okay, yeah, we'll add it to our list. But at that point I said to David, look, if it was me, you don't have to do this, because he told me already that he only needed a little top up to get himself down to where he was going. I said, if it was me, there's 2 50 kilowatt old GridServe, the original Ecotricity ones over there. There's shared bay, but there's no one there. Because he was already at quite a high state of charge, it was around about 70%. When he was plugged into these GridServe 350s, he was only getting about 40 odd kilowatts. So I said, look, if you just want to top up, just go over onto those. Now, it'll do one or two things. Either if that doesn't work, and I know they work because we saw someone charging there before and I filmed the screen, so I know those work. I said, but if that doesn't work, you've got a problem with your car. There's something in the car, software, whatever, is causing a fault. If those work, then it wasn't you, me, or the car. It was those grid serves, 350s. So we went over there and he said, look, would you do it? I said, well, absolutely. So I'm getting a dab hand now at charging up Volvos. So anyhow, I plugged it in. I said, put your card in. He put his card in. Almost instantly, you could hear the contactors click, fans come on. And we knew it was going to start. And then all the lights turned green, you're charging. And he was getting about 47 kilowatts out of it. So he only stayed there about 20 minutes. I think he went in and had a cup of coffee. Oh no, he's looking for his wife. That was it. So he went in and we carried on filming. And by the time we got back and looked around, he was gone. But interesting lesson there, what to do if your charger fails. And that was just an example. At that point, we were heading in for breakfast, but then a load of cars pulled out and a load of new cars pulled in, and amongst them was a bright red Porsche Taycan, and couldn't stop. We had to go and look at this one. So he pulled in. Before anyone says it, it's not a disabled bay. These 12 grid serves have CCS2 only, apart from the N2, which have CCS2 and CHAdeMO. So though one of those green ones marked on the floor, they are the dual ones, CCS or CHAdeMO. So anyhow, so he pulled in, perfectly entitled to, and got out and charged. And while he was just getting everything arranged, I walked over to see if I could have a chat with him, and turned around and said, "Hi, Dave. I'm a viewer of yours." I think getting known everywhere nowadays, it really is interesting. I love meeting up with viewers because I learn so much from them. They seem to get a bit of fun out of meeting me, and so it was great. Had a look at his car in a lot more detail. Now I have to say, I'm a Tesla fanboy. Everybody calls me that. I out of choice, I love the Tesla technology. The car build and style and everything else, it's good. But the technology is just in a world of its own. Mine's an 8-year-old car now this year. And my technology is way ahead of most other cars on the road. Still, the new ones just make mine look like an abacus. So I stayed and chat. The Porsche Taycan is an absolutely gorgeous car. I would love to have one. They are fantastic cars. Turns out this is brand new. Paul's only ever charged it once before, and here he was. So I said, "Oh wow, can I film it?" "Yeah, lovely," he says. So we had a chat again. Paul turns out to be from Rotherham. So that was it. So we charged that. Spoiler alert here, there is a video coming out on this to show the full details, but his car was charging at 30 kilowatts. So with what happened with David and the ABB engineers being there, I think there are some problems going on with these chargers. These should be 350 kilowatts. Anyway, so we did a bit more filming, filmed a variety of cars, and it's the one thing I like about going to a non-Tesla charger, and that is you meet so many different cars. We had a Fiat 500, we had a Peugeot 208, a couple of electric vans, we had a VW bus van. And all of these we talked to, and it was a really good time. We eventually got some breakfast, came out, a whole new Starga, new people giving us information and everything. So we were there like 2 hours, just in time for getting off before I think it's 3-hour parking there, but so we're on the road, only 20 minutes from Chester, so straight down to Chester. But already the plan had gone out the window. We'd done so much filming, we already had enough film for 2 or 3 full videos. A lot of information goes into the database so that we can make future videos from this. Plans gone out the window, but we got down to Chester, pulled into the multi-storey car park in the middle of Chester, and we were there to see the 40 Type 2 chargers, the fast chargers, which are there. They don't seem to have an app. I did it all live, so you'll see exactly what happened when that video will be out in a couple of days. But the way the way I chose to do it was you scan a QR code. And yeah, I've heard all the warnings about QR codes. This was a genuine one. It takes you to the website. If ever you scan a QR code and it doesn't take you to where you're expecting, that could be a scam. This one, it was very clear. Doesn't download an app. It just takes you through to the payment section, which is a padlock secured one, so you can make a secure payment. And in my case, I chose Apple Pay. Paid by Apple, and then we did the charging session. While it was charging, we went for a walk in Chester, did a bit of background photography, came back. There's video coming out tonight. In fact, 2 videos, because what I saw there with some of the signs that were up on the walls just got my mind thinking about people who can't charge at home. And there's a really interesting video going to be out within the next couple of weeks. Anyhow, by this time, we'd spent probably about an hour and a half in Chester. It was over an hour, because I know the car park was £3.50 for the first hour, and it charged me a £5. So, yeah, we were there over an hour. We were going to go and look at another site on the way, and we decided to change that. So we changed our plans once again, and we decided to head for Trafford Centre, Manchester. This is a Tesla Supercharger. It's 18 V3s, and V3s are all 250 kilowatts dedicated power per charger. Unlike the grid serves, again another story, but they do share power in a strange way. Anyway, so we got to Trafford Centre. As we were approaching, I normally decide I'm not going to charge. First of all, it was peak time, so it meant the price of the charging was at its highest, and Trafford Centre has the highest charge for a charging session in the whole of the UK from the last time I've looked at all of the Tesla Superchargers. It is really high, and that's because it's a very, very busy location, a very busy supercharger. Not only is it Tesla, but it's open to non-Teslas as well. And being at the Trafford Centre, this place gets heaving at times. So arriving at peak time, we thought that actually is going to be heaving. So we're not going to charge. Always make sure when we're out filming we don't need to charge. And so we got there and we found out it was half empty. In fact, more than half empty. 18 bays, and when we got there, there was just 8 being used. And when we looked down the row, they were all Teslas. So we thought, why are there no Teslas here? Anyway, we did some filming there, and then we were probably there about an hour. Couple or 3 videos come out of that one, and by now it was starting to get just a touch dark, middle of the afternoon, gone a bit grey, and we were running so far behind, the plan had gone out the window, that we thought, let's go to the last call, which we really want to do. And this is the new Tesla Supercharger in Preston by the Holiday Inn, Walton Summit. And that one is one we filmed twice already. We filmed when it first started, and second we filmed when all the electrics went in, but that was around about Christmas time. But because it's so close to me, it's 3 miles from the house, I do keep an eye on it every time I'm coming home. I'll think, and sometimes I'll swing by and just drive past it. And last time I did it was, I think it was Tuesday, absolutely tipping down with rain. But I saw they were installing chargers, so I thought, right, this is one we've got to do. So Jonas and I called there on the way back. I have to give a word of warning, this isn't a hotel car park, and you will come across this quite often with Teslas, but also others. It's not just exclusive. If your charger is in a hotel car park or a retail car park or a public car park, you do not get free parking in 99% of those locations. You are legally liable for the parking charge and the charging session. However, if it's a Tesla Supercharger, I don't know about the others, but if it's a Tesla Supercharger, then they will always say, go in, there are notices everywhere, don't park, go to reception. And if you go into the reception of the hotel, they will have a tablet there, and it will say register your car, and when you register, you talk to the receptionist, they'll tell you what to do, and all you do is you put yourself down as a hotel visitor, and you put your registration number in, and that stops the ANPR from targeting you. So you can stay there while you're charging for lunch for an hour, or you can come and go in half an hour, whatever you choose, but you won't have to pay the car park. If you don't have that screen or you don't use it, you'll get a charge. Anyway, so we got there, we found the engineers there. They were just finishing up for the day. It was just starting to get dark. But we know it's fine. They're really happy to chat. So we stayed and had a chat with them. We learned an awful lot, and there'll be a video coming out on the electrics and the connections and all of that, how it all works on this particular supercharger. We did some filming, and then at that point it was time to go. So we jumped into the car, off we went, dropped Jonas off at home. We decided who was doing what video and what we were going to do with it, and then we went home, and that was the day. So We did the plan. We did not stick to the plan, but we had a tremendous time. We met so many people who wanted to stop and talk. We met several of our viewers, regular viewers and subscribers, who were happy to come over and introduce themselves. And all in all, it was a great day, load of footage, the weather held up beautifully. So it was a great day, but not what we planned. Well, thanks very much for watching. I'm Dave. If you like this one, please subscribe and hit the notification bell, because if you do, we will notify when we next launch a video for you. I'm Dave.